When milk yield drops, most farmers rush to blame the cow, the weather, or even genetics. But the truth is, in over 70% of cases, the real issue is feeding, specifically how and when feed is given. Great milk production isn't only about the amount of feed. It's about the balance, timing and preparation that turn basic fodder into high-quality nutrition. Generations of dairy farmers before us discovered feeding tricks that made the difference between barely surviving and thriving. Whether you keep 2 cows or 20, these feeding hacks can dramatically increase your milk yield without ballooning your costs. So, let's go deep into how smart feeding, not expensive feed, can unlock your cow's full potential. Understanding that milk is made in the rumen, not the bucket. The foundation of milk production lies in digestion. What the cow eats is only half the story. What her stomach does with it is the real secret. Cows are ruminants, meaning their stomachs are fermentation chambers where microbes convert roughage into energy and nutrients. If those microbes are healthy, milk flow improves naturally. But, when they're stressed by poor feed or irregular feeding times, yield drops sharply. To boost rumen health, feed your cows regularly at the same times each day, so the microbial population stays active and balanced. Also, provide plenty of clean water, because digestion and milk formation rely heavily on hydration. A single dairy cow can need up to 100 litres of water a day when producing milk. Neglecting water intake is, well, like turning off the fuel line in an engine. Here's a practical example for you. One Kenyan farmer near Nyeri found that simply giving his cows warm water early in the morning during the cold months increased their milk by nearly 15%. And why does this happen? Well, it's because the warm water helps rumen microbes stay active when temperatures drop, which in turn improves feed digestion. It's tempting to think that giving more feed automatically means more milk. But cows, much like us humans, actually perform better with balanced nutrition rather than just excess. The real trick lies in providing energy, protein and minerals in the right ratios. If a cow eats too much energy, say from maize bran or molasses, without enough protein, her milk fat may increase, but her total yield just won't. And if she eats too much protein without enough energy, that excess protein turns into waste. Wasted feed, well, that simply means wasted money. Now, to balance your feeding, you'll want to divide your cow's diet into 3 main categories. First, there's roughage, like grass, hay, or silage. Then you have concentrates, which are grains or dairy meal. And finally, supplements, such as minerals or salts. Roughage should make up about 60% of the total feed, since it provides the fibre needed to keep the rumen working efficiently. Concentrates, on the other hand, should be adjusted according to production. So high-yielding cows can get up to 4 kilograms per day, split between morning and evening. A small but, powerful trick is to mix molasses with chopped dry fodder or hay. The sweetness encourages the cow to eat more fibre, and at the same time the molasses adds quick energy for milk synthesis. Farmers who practice this hack often report, higher feed conversion rates and better overall health in their cows. Fresh, green fodder really does remain the backbone of any profitable dairy enterprise. It supplies not just bulk, but also essential nutrients like vitamins and carotene that honestly enhance milk flavour and quality. Growing your own green fodder ensures a consistent supply and reduces dependency on bought feeds. One of the best hacks is intercropping legumes with your main fodder crop. For instance, planting Napier grass mixed with Desmodium or Lucerne improves protein content and, reduces the need for commercial protein supplements. If land is a bit scarce, hydroponic fodder systems can be a fantastic solution, providing a steady source of greens from maize or barley seeds in just 7 days. This method, while quite simple, is remarkably powerful for those small farmers striving to maintain high milk yield throughout the year. The feeding schedule is directly tied to milk output. Cows should ideally be fed shortly after milking because that's when their appetite is at its strongest. Feeding them before milking, on the other hand, can cause discomfort and might lower milk letdown. Now, a proven routine looks something like this. Morning milking, followed by feeding and watering. Then a good midday rest with access to roughage. And finally, evening milking, followed once more by feeding and a mineral lick. Another overlooked trick is feeding in smaller, frequent portions rather than 1 or 2 large meals. This, mimics natural grazing and keeps the cow's rumen constantly active, reducing the risk of acidosis and boosting overall digestion efficiency. Even the best-fed cows can underperform if their mineral balance is off. Calcium, phosphorus and magnesium are critical for milk formation, while trace minerals like zinc and copper support fertility and immune health. A cow short on minerals will produce less milk, even if she's eating well. Always keep a mineral lick block available, but don't stop there. Add a bit of salt to drinking water during hot weather to encourage intake and maintain electrolyte balance. If you feed home-mixed rations, add bone meal or dicalcium phosphate to meet calcium needs, especially for lactating cows. Farmers who supplement correctly often see richer milk and stronger calves, an investment that pays off every season. One of the most overlooked feeding hacks is fermentation. Fermented feeds such as silage, molasses, urea blocks or probiotic mixtures enhance digestibility and improve the cow's gut health. Silage, made from chopped green fodder sealed in airtight pits or drums, preserves nutrients for months and maintains high energy value. A simple on-farm example. A farmer making maize silage mixed with a bit of molasses and salt found his cow's milk increased by 20% during the dry season compared to those fed dry hay alone. The reason is that fermentation breaks down complex carbohydrates, making nutrients easier to absorb. Now, homemade probiotic feeds, made by mixing molasses, yeast and water, then leaving it to ferment for about 48 hours, can be sprayed over your fodder to really boost microbial activity in the rumen. It's, a low-cost and natural way to encourage higher milk yield, all without having to rely on those commercial enhancers. Feeding for better milk production isn't about spending more. It's about understanding your cow's needs, the biology of digestion, and how small adjustments lead to massive improvements. By feeding at the right times, balancing rations, and using simple fermentation and mineral tricks, you can turn average cows into top producers on a small budget. If you found these feeding hacks useful, don't forget to subscribe to Husbandry for more practical, experience-backed guides that combine old-world wisdom with modern dairy science. Share this video with your fellow farmers and help build a community that thrives on knowledge, not guesswork, because in dairy farming, the smartest feed always wins.